Hey, what's up, Roxstars? Happy Sunday. Let's get this devotion, shall we? I will trust in the Lord. I will trust in the Lord. I will trust in the Lord till I die. I will trust in the Lord. I will trust in the Lord. I will trust in the Lord till I die. I will trust in the Lord. I will trust in the Lord. I will trust in the Lord till I die. Amen, amen, and amen. Y'all, we had to choose that song today because we need to trust on the Lord because some of us do not understand. And what am I talking about today? Today is the Top of the Blogs Extra that I promised, and we are talking about Bruce Jenner and his 2020 interview with Diane Sawyer, where he finally admitted to us that he is indeed becoming a woman. So I talked about it on Top of the Blogs a few times, and I had mentioned it on my Instagram, and it was really just a concept that was really hard for me to grasp. The fact that this man was an Olympic champion, he was a celebrated hero, he was everywhere back, more so in the 80s. You know, he was a big name back in the 80s. Some of that did diminish when he went on to become, you know, Bruce Jenner, the father of the Kardashians, the stepfather of the Kardashians. But it was just, I couldn't believe it, even though we had been seeing pictures of him and his appearance was definitely changing. He was starting to grow out his hair. He started to look like he had boobs. He started to wear fingernail polish. We found out about the shave that he had on his Adam's apple. There were all these different clues that he definitely was going through something. I didn't realize, or at least I didn't want to believe, that he was really going through the process to become transgendered now. When he sat down with Diane Sawyer, within the first 5 minutes of the interview, he admitted that yes, indeed, he is becoming a woman. And I just sat there and looked at the TV with my mouth open like, wow. He really did admit it. I mean, within the first 5 minutes. So if you were really just feeling like it was going to be some sort of, you know, where they tried to rein you in and make sure you watch to the last 10 minutes. No, it wasn't like that. Okay. He said at the beginning, if that's all you needed to hear, then you could have turn the channel. And then he just went on to give his story. And his story was very, very interesting. What I started to wonder is this something that was new, or is this something that had been in his, you know, in his inside, the way that he felt for a long time? I knew that it had to be that. And I was wondering if he was going to give any stories where there were some examples of him maybe struggling with it at a young age. And he explained just that. He you know, I think he said from when he was 8 years old, he was dressing in his mom's clothes, and there came a time when he told his sister that he, you know, wanted to become a woman, or he was struggling with these feelings on the inside. They gave some instances where his wives knew. Nobody ever said anything about it. Even mentioned that Chris had idea that this is what he wanted, and nobody ever gave him up. They even said that back in the 90s, I believe it was, that he decided that he was going to transition into a woman, had been taking the hormones for 5 years, and that's when his appearance started changing. By the time he made it to the Kardashian show, he didn't look anything like he did before. We started to think that it was because of bad plastic surgery jobs and just the fact that he had been aging. Come to find out, it was also the effects of the hormones that he was taking. You guys, it was just I'll just say this. I thought that it was very, very brave of Bruce Jenner, which is what everybody is saying. Well, for the most part. I mean, a lot of people still don't understand, and that's fine. Like, I'm not trying to convince people that they should understand why he has decided to do this, especially at 65 years old. It's just sort of like you've lived all your life, and why not just close it out the way you came in? But I think that Bruce's whole thing is he's tired of living for everybody else, and even if it's just his last 5, 10, 15 years of life, he really wants to do what he wants to do. And it's a difficult dynamic to accept. Okay, so for those who don't believe in it, or those who don't accept it, or I understand. But as far as I'm concerned, I think that it just takes a special person especially to be who he was and what we've all built up in our mind, for him to decide to basically come out and say, okay, yeah, I know you guys think that I'm like this Superman, athlete, or that's what I came from, but no, really, on the inside, I am a woman. You guys, it's amazing. I told you guys before about the person on YouTube that I follow. Her name is Diamond Styles. I don't even think she really doesn't make many videos anymore, but she was a transgender that I came across, and I learned a lot on her channel. She was a man at one time, and then she became a woman, and she's like, if you were to just stumble on her page now, you would have had no idea that she ever was a man. I mean, it's amazing what those hormones and things like, because I think she hasn't had the actual sex change, but she's she's been very open about the whole process. Very interesting. So my husband is looking for me. He just woke up and he probably trying to figure out where I am. I've been out here. Hold on one second, you guys. You looking for me? Yeah. But I was always really interested and curious, and not in like a circus act kind of way, but just I've always liked to learn new things about people. It's been a special interest of mine. I always enjoyed her channel. I think I've told you guys about her channel before, in the past, and I'll link whatever the name of her channel, because I don't think it's called Diamond Styles. I think it's something else, but I'll link it down below. But it is just I was just so amazed when I was looking at it. Okay, I went through a couple of different emotions. Of course, the first emotion was like unbelief. Then the second emotion was I kind of felt that he felt relieved that he actually came out and just said it. So I was happy for him, because people were saying like he's making a spectacle out of it. If he wants to make this change, and why don't he just do it behind closed doors, and why does he have to be on TV, and why does he? But really, let's go back and think about who we're talking about here. Bruce Jenner, who is the stepfather on the Kardashian show. The Kardashians is such a media frenzy. It's surrounded by paparazzi. They can never really get on their own, and that's something that they brought on themselves, but this is a side effect of it. There was no way that he was going to be able to do it on his own in the silence. Okay, people were following him everywhere, like he said, like they do all of them. Okay, and once the media started to sniff out these things that were happening, they were never going to give him any peace and quiet. I mean, I don't see it ever being able to happen unless he went out of the country and hid off somewhere and did this process, and who wants to live their life like that? If he's going to do it, I guess he said, you know what, I'm going to let everybody know. I'll take the steam out of them trying to figure it out. And I thought that it was wonderful that his family, both his old 2 past wives and their families, and his new family with the Kardashians, nobody said anything about it. Nobody mentioned anything to the media. Their mother did have a slip up when somebody called her. She never exactly said what he was doing, but she did basically say that this is something that Bruce wants to do, that, she's trying to understand it. But there's no way that he was going to be able to hide it away. And instead of it being a bunch of people just making up stories, I thought that it was good that they let him tell his own story. And of course, as far as the families are concerned, I'm sure there's a lot to work out. His 2 former families. He has 2 kids with the first wife, 2 kids with the second wife. The second wife kids we pretty much know, which is Brody and the other one. But the first 2 we never really heard much about. I knew about them, but we never really saw them. A good looking bunch of kids. I mean, Bruce Jenner was a great looking man back in the day, but they all were just like, finally made sense. I didn't know what they meant by that, but evidently there had been some things that, they had seen in their dad in the past that they couldn't quite put their finger on, but they knew that he was different. And I thought that it was cool that they were supportive. I don't know if my dad came to me and told me that, how easy it would be for me to accept it. Probably as I get older. I don't know how I would react, but I know that I love my dad and I would try to be there for him and everything. But it would be something very, very hard. Now the Kardashians, I think the fact that none of them were on the show could mean a couple of things. One, they didn't want to turn it into anything else Kardashian related. People have a tendency to believe that the Kardashians always take over everything, and they do. If they try to or not, they do. So it was cool that they weren't on the special. But it also made it sort of seem like they weren't necessarily supportive. And from what I understand, I think some of them were and some weren't. Okay, he explained that Kim has been the most supportive, and because Kanye helped her through that. He explained that Khloe, who I was shocked to hear was the one that was having the hardest time with it. I don't care what anybody says. I think that Kris is probably having a really hard time. I've said this whole season on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, every time I see it, she looks stressed and not like her normal self. This season has been hard on her, I think, because of the shit that's going on with Rob and now with Bruce. I don't think that we should be all that hard on Kris because she's married to somebody for 25 years and then they tell her that they want to be a woman. There's no way that we can just be like, oh, she's just selfish and she's not trying to understand. Like, yeah, that is something that is a hard ass pill to swallow. It almost feels like 25 years of your life was a fraud. We all have our problems and our issues with Kris Jenner, but I think that Kris Jenner is being made out to be the bad guy when she hasn't really done anything. This is a situation where it's really not anybody's fault. Even though 2020 reached out to her and there was no comment, I don't blame her. Like, it's like, let me work through this, okay? Even though it's been only a year and a half or however long he said when he finally admitted it to Kris. I think that she deserves to be able to have more time to try to process this. And if she never gets to that point, then that's okay. I still think that Bruce has to do what he has to do. I think that is great that he finally admitted that he's, he can't do it anymore. He can't fake the funk no more. He can't try to be happy for everybody. He's just like, this is it. I'm doing it. And I think that that's something that's very commendable. He has a rough road ahead of him, but I really do think that he took a lot of the steam and the fire out of what the media would have tried to make it, because he put it all out there on his terms. He answered pretty much all of our questions. Yeah, we still have a lot of questions, but that's a lot of the questions that are in the whole transgender community that we have to, like the fact that he is a man becoming a woman. From the way he was speaking, it didn't sound like he was going to change his actual sexual parts and that he still wanted to be with women. So then the question was, now, are you a lesbian? Well, I don't think they really think of themselves as lesbians. Like, it's all these different things that are hard to... It's just... The whole concept is just really, really way out. But from the way he was speaking, well, I know that when I've seen other transgenders videos and they were talking about not having the sex change, because if they change their actual sexual parts, they don't have the same feeling when they have sex. As if a man became a woman, yes, they can make the outside to look like a woman's parts, but the feeling on the inside is not the same. And I would imagine, because I'm not a doctor, but I would imagine because the insides, the nerve endings, and the way that we're set up on the inside is not the same as a man. The mans are not the same as a woman and vice versa. So you would have the look, but you probably wouldn't have the same feel. The same for when a woman becomes a man, they give them medication. I guess I'm getting extra, but I guess the clitoris starts to grow some, sort of like as if it was a penis, but it still doesn't get to a normal penis size. So I think there's all these different transplants and things that they can do to try to, it ain't gonna be the same. A lot of times transgenders keep their actual parts, and then that's why why they feel like they will still be with a woman. I mean, if it was a man, he's keeping his man parts. Would they be with a man or a woman? I mean, it's confusing. But you guys really should watch Diamond's videos because she actually has talked about all of these things in depth. Another emotion that I felt was that I was sort of sad for him because I kind of feel like he's about to be on this journey and probably he is going to lose a lot of friends and family and fans, people who just don't understand. Even though we are really happy that he's living in his own truth, we cannot be ignorant to the fact that there's a lot of people out there who don't believe in this and who don't understand it and who never will even try to understand it. So he's got some tough days ahead, and I think that he's going to find that once we all get out of this, yeah, Bruce is the champion and the hero and all of that. You know, I think that he's going to find that he's probably got quite a bit of a lonely road to go. But then I also laughed at the fact that he was very excited to show Diane Sawyer his dress that he's going to be wearing, because they're saying that this is the last time that we'll see Bruce Jenner as Bruce Jenner, that he is indeed becoming a woman, he's embracing it, and when we start to see him whenever it is again that he decides to make public appearances, it will be as a woman. So when he went to go show Diane Sawyer the dress that he was going to wear with her for dinner, he was just, I mean, it was just like how me and my mom, like when I used to go to my mom's house, she'd be like, let me show you this dress that I just bought at Ross. It was on sale. Come back here, let me show you. And she would run back there. I mean, he was the exact same way. So excited about the dress. So that actually, that one little part of the show actually made me feel like, yes, he is finally happy with what he's doing. But yeah, I want you guys to, I'm not going to get in the comments because I can tell that the comments are probably going to be a little bit volatile. I want everybody to give their opinions, of course, but I want everybody to remember that everybody is entitled to their opinions, whether or not we agree. Let's keep the shit adult and non-catty and petty and all of that. But yeah, you guys, let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. I'm gonna get on off of here, take my dog for a quick walk real fast, and that is it. So y'all know what to do. Okay, rate, comment, subscribe, all of that. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I plan on doing the same. Until next time, Roxstars. Bye.